Today I am going to talk about Auguste Comte. He was a French philosopher of science. He was born in 1798 and died in 1857. He received his early education in a polytechnic and then went to Paris and tried to continue his education, but due to his financial circumstances he could not continue. It is commonly known that Comte coined and invented the word sociology, and when he used this word sociology during the 19th century, it was a time of great scientific and intellectual activity in the Europe. Europe was fastly moving towards a rational and scientific understanding of nature and society and culture. So Comte said that human mind and human consciousness has achieved that maturity in which, after the development of mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, now the human society can also discover general and universal laws regarding the growth and evolution of human societies. So he proposed the science of society, which he termed as sociology. There are 2-3 areas in which his contributions are very important. The first one is his concept of positive system of philosophy. By positive system of philosophy, he meant that the human intellect, human reason can understand reality by combining logic and mathematics and the sensory experience, data gathered from the sensory experience. So positive system of philosophy emphasizes that the data from the senses is categorized into certain general laws by the use of intellect and reason, and that human reason has developed to such a sufficient level that it can now organize and develop the human society effectively and efficiently. So at that time it was a groundbreaking work, and several English and French philosophers, they appreciated him and said that he has come up with an excellent theory to understand the human society. That is the positive system of philosophy. Later on, this developed into a full-fledged school of thought, as full-fledged theoretical paradigm in sociology known as positivism, which means the scientific study of, positivism means the scientific study of society, in which objectivity, rationality and observation, they are combined to understand the social facts, to understand and interpret the social reality. So that is positivism. This positivism was later on picked up by Emile Durkheim, and then it goes on to translate into functional structural theory of sociology, the first scientific theory. The second important contribution was his famous law of 3 stages. Comte believed that the human society passes through 3 stages or 3 phases. The first one he termed as the theological stage or the phase, the second the metaphysical stage, and the third one as the positive stage. And this was his general theory about the growth and development of human society and human civilization. He says in the theological stage, human beings are mostly, they believe in superstition and supernatural. They try to explain their social existence by means of theological and religious ideas, mostly rooted in dogma, superstition and supernatural being. They try to explain different natural and historical and social activities by invoking the fear and awe of the supernatural forces. The next stage of development in the life of social systems is the movement into their development and movement into the metaphysical stage. This is the stage in which the human societies, they question, try to raise question, try to ask question, and try to understand the natural and the social world by applying certain laws of reason and certain laws of logic. So, this is the second stage of human consciousness, or the second stage of the development of human society. The third stage is the positive stage, which he claims that is the stage in which the human society has entered. Now, the 18th and 19th century post-revolutionary France and the post-revolutionary, post-enlightenment Europe, which has achieved that level and which is now using its intellect and power of observation to build a new rational and objective human society, in which people now do not need anymore the interference of religion and the interference of metaphysics, but people can now organize their life on the basis of their own reasons, and society can now be established on the lines of science and the scientific method. So, this was his very second important contribution, that society and its evolution and growth can be studied through these three laws, and the scientific stage, the positive stage which the society has achieved, is the most important stage in which the human intellect has become mature enough to understand the social world. Other important area in which, third important area in which his contribution, Comte's contribution is very significant, is that he studied the social sciences, the social phenomena, and divided into two main disciplines and domains. The first he referred as social statistics, and the second he referred as social dynamics. In the social statistics, he tried to understand the existing laws and the existing system of the human societies, how they function, how they work, how they develop. And in the social dynamics, he tried to understand and explore the concept of social change, that why societies change and transform, and new social structures and new forms of behavior and new norms and values, they appear and they guide the human life. So, this is the third important area of his contribution, sociological. Fourth and the last, you can say, area is his concept of religion. He was when we read his autobiography, his biographical sketch, we find that he became atheist at the age of 18 when he was a school college student. Why? Because in France of that time, during the 19th century, due to the revolutionary struggle, the Christianity and the Catholic religion, Roman Catholicism, was largely rejected, and people were, following and imitating secularism and liberalism in, great numbers. So, he was also in the grip of that secularism and liberalism, but through his reflection and analysis, he realized that religion provided certain core values on the basis of which the system of the society stays in a harmonious and balanced way, and human beings live a peaceful and happy life. Now that religion and ethical values of Christianity have been discarded by the revolutionary and new political and social ideas, but society still needs, certain values. So, he proposed a secular religion, so-called secular religion, and he said that the world needs a new universal church of humanity. He called it the religion of humanity, and he himself became the first prophet of that religion. Keep in mind that it was a secular religion, but he didn't have any alternative organizational systems at that time. So, he copied much of the Christian organizational system. He proposed pontiffs and priests and high priest and the different temples of the Church of Humanity, in which people come in those churches and temples and they worship humanity, human beings, the supreme being which he called the new supreme being of modern times, the human beings. Instead of worshipping and praying and obeying to the Almighty God, now he said that human beings should worship superhuman being. Superhuman being was born out of the French Revolution, that he can do anything he likes by using his reason. Reason became the new tool, powerful tool of organizing the social life of the human societies. So, this was his concept of universal Church of Humanity, in which he saw that if the future of mankind can be saved and values and norms can be established in a secular fashion instead of a religious fashion, they can be established in a secular fashion, and because the certain values are required, they are needed, they are necessary. Without those values, without those norms, without those basic principles, a society cannot function. But Comte believed that those basic principles and norms and values can be developed by the human reason and intellect, and human beings do not need anymore help from the mainstream Christian Roman Catholic Church. So, these are some of his ideas which I have discussed with you, and thank you very much. Now, if you have any question, you are welcome.